Hello. I was possibly going to just work on something new, but I figured since I started on this yesterday, I should mess with it more. I really like how the face turned out thus far. It's funny how you get all into the mix. I didn't even notice I didn't even color this area yesterday. I just knew I was short on time towards the end, so I left. But anyway, so what I'm doing is this was a drawing I did in ink and pencil. Just kind of doodling at some point, and I decided to practice gouache on it because it's on a watercolor block, so it's already kind of where I would like it to be, is in the realm of water, whether it have been watercolor or gouache. But anyway, like the underpainting is kind of what was focused on yesterday. And now I'm just kind of fleshing this out. Again, this isn't really a planned project or anything that matters outside of just putting hours in learning gouache. Basically, how it moves, like what's it like, what's its properties, what's its personality. So I like to vibe out. What am I from Canada? I'm not from Canada. Why did I make up that accent? Must be something I was just watching. I tend to do that. Accents are fascinating. Um, but yeah, so now I'm just fleshing this out and finalizing it. And I don't know, I just fell in love with gouache. Like I avoided it forever because I got a bad set once, basically. Boils down to that. I had a cheap set. Like I don't really like how this feels or works. And years later I got a good set. Years later being, was this last July, I think I grabbed them. And then I didn't even really pay with them for a while because I was working a job that just got busy around that time. So I didn't have a lot. Like I get off work and be exhausted and not really feel like experimenting. I just kind of stuck with the art that I know, or really easy art, which is like digital. The reason I say digital is easy, I don't think digital is easy. The reason I think that it's easy for me sometimes is you don't really have to lug out supplies. Like this piece right here would have been done in 15 minutes easily on digital for me because I already know everything. I know the layout. I know what to use. There is no actual, I don't know, what should I say, like risks, stakes. I mean, there is, but there's less stakes. Like you cannot mess up digital, really. I feel you really kind of can't mess up canvas or paper either. I feel like, but um, you really can't with digital. I feel like, I don't know, unless you like don't save a file or something. I don't know. But I like the convenience of it. It's sort of like the argument. A lot of people like pretend like they're like purists because they don't use digital. I was that person for years and years until my artist friends were like, no, like grab an iPad and try it. And again, it's like the Serato DJ argument. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I feel like if you worked on tables analog for all of your life, and then this tool came along and it made everything to where you don't have to lug around 17 billion pounds of vinyl to all your shows, you're still using the exact same skill set, technically. Like it's not like somebody can just grab like an iPad and suddenly just draw better. Like that doesn't really happen either. So anyhow, that's just my little diatribe or whatever. because I put down digital forever. I was like, I won't touch it. It's cheating. I just didn't like it. It wasn't natural. I even got like a what are we calling it? A Wacom, a Wacom. Sorry, I have to rotate this to do this detail. And I didn't. It was a secondhand one, which is fine. I mean, that's how I like buy most of my stuff. However, it was a very, very, very early model, and the color just did not match. And I actually know Photoshop pretty well, or I did when I was younger. My pops got it when I was like, I don't know, like 1990 something, back when it, like, before there was even like a gigabyte, before that like even existed. I was able to learn Photoshop in unconventional ways back then. I just was really good at Mac, and then I even at like art school, I like kind of relearned it in the 90s. But then, I don't know, I started messing with PCs. Like my buddy was like, dude, PC has Photoshop, all that stuff, and I didn't believe him. And it was just way more affordable at the time when I just didn't have like loot to be, messing with a Mac basically. So fell out of it for a long time. Didn't really like it. So when I was messing with the Wacom, when I got that, it was like cool, but it felt clunky. I didn't like how it was attached to the computer, stuff like that. And so getting the iPad, when someone told me about Procreate, like the Apple Pencil, it was a game changer. It changed my analog art too, because it kind of just taught me to be like more fearless, to like understand like no concept can be lost now. Like even if I mess something up, I've got like a picture of it. Just bring it back to life. Doesn't matter. I also decided with this gargoyle. I talked about this yesterday. If you're looking at this, you're like, God, that background is disgusting. It is. It's just it's not done. But this gargoyle is just like overlooking a ledge with a city in the background. But what I was thinking yesterday is I'm probably going to add a glow, even though the light source clearly seems to be coming from the front here. Whatever. That kind of doesn't make sense, but whatever. That's the way I'm doing this one. I'm going to do a glow from beneath as though he's on top of a building and there's like city lights hitting him or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Again, that's the whole point, right? I'm just trying to learn some stuff. Paint. Listen to beats. And learn gouache. Another thing about gouache that was pretty interesting is I didn't realize yesterday at the end when I did some highlights in white, and I did not. I forgot to clean my brush. So with some mediums, that can be like RIP to that brush. But apparently just a tad bit of water and came right off, and the brush seems to be fine. It's not like a practice I want to like. It's not like something I want to do again. Not these brushes are like the greatest brushes I've ever had, but still, don't ever waste supplies. Doesn't feel good. So yesterday too, I was using all fresh out the tube paint, but now it's since dried, so I'm kind of doing like just re-wetting it and using it because the base layer is already down, so I'm assuming it should work okay. It seems to be so far. It's not like the texture I personally prefer. I kind of just like wet paint, but also because this isn't like a commission or anything, it's just me learning. I don't really care. Just trying to figure out how this all works. And it is very hard to do detail. while filming sometimes. That's another thing I kind of want to learn, is just brush control to where it's not, that's not like a problem. And it's weird because when I was looking at this last night, I was like, he looks way too dark. Now I'm looking at him like he looks way too light. And that's like another weird thing that can happen, is the perspective can shift while you're working on something. I kind of like to one and done stuff just so I stop like overthinking it. I actually was shocked. I thought I was going to knock this out yesterday in like 30 minutes for some reason. And here we are. But I like the habit of starting my day off with like a warm-up, painting, drawing, whatever. It just sets the tone. It's good for the day. Because we got to do a lot of business stuff too. Like, I feel like starting the day with that is sometimes kind of whack. Alright, he's fleshing together pretty well. The background still bothers me. So, I like the colors and stuff though. I think it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna make the sky kind of... I don't know if I want to make it pinkish. Maybe though. Do a little bit of red. Maybe a little, just the slightest amount. I'll just use some already. Use wet red. That's what I'm calling it now. That's the name of the color. Like a tad bit of leftover yellow. It's gonna be fresh red, leftover yellow, mixed with a little bit of fresh white. Wish it was like a darker red. There's my arm, in case you were wondering. I don't know if I like this color, but maybe I do. It's just a little bit of red sky, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I just want to make it like less watercolor slop and more uniform. And uniform, I guess we'll just say. Let's leave it there. Now this brush is acting kind of like a fool. You're not covering in fun ways. Brush, what's up? You're a good brush too. We've been through some things, me and this brush. Guess just need a little more water. It's funny too, because back in the day, like before I kind of learned painting and the amount of layers and all of that fun stuff, I always painted the background really well first. And it was like, I tried so hard to avoid ever doing the background after other stuff was painted. For whatever reason, I don't know. Like, I just, like something like this where the red went over the blue, like back then I was like, well, painting's ruined. Gotta like start a new painting or something. Because I'd just be like too worried or too impatient to mix the matching color or whatever to fix that. I don't know. It's really weird. Anyway, that's my idiocy, my neurodivergence, my overthinking, whatever you want to call it. Just very impatient, kind of wasteful. Because again, like in the middle of a process of a painting, you'll tell yourself like 7 times that it's ruined. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care how good you are. Until you get to the point where you just know the process. You can like trust that it's not ruined and it's cool. And I mean, philosophically, there's like no necessarily ruining art. If you look at the masters, some of those cats painted like those paintings, the famous paintings that you'll see. Some of those are like the 12th painting of the exact same thing. There's a reason for that. You can't fail at art, really. Like, how do you fail at an expression? Doesn't even make sense. So don't be hard on yourself, is the point. And throw a little burnt sienna down. Because one thing I noticed is... You want to see my arm again? No, something I noticed is... I don't know. Maybe... Yeah, I'll just do burnt sienna. It's cool. And a little bit of orange, possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of... Okay, burnt sienna and maybe like a dark maroon is going to be the building that he is on right here. For whatever reason, I don't know. I just don't want to make that gray as well. I think that was kind of weird. Like blends in with him, and why? So I feel like a little bit of red. This building is a... Oh, maybe it's an old brick building, dude. Maybe I'll add some gout. Some gout, not grout. And joint inflammation to this painting, because hell yeah, I am. That's how you know I'm old. And let's see here. I think that'll look alright. Like, I, again, will probably make it clearly brick. A brick ledge of some sort or something. I don't know. Again, I don't even know why. I guess maybe because I'm streaming or something. Spending way more time on this than I normally would, but it's alright. That's like something I'm trying to learn. So I'm always like, I do stuff fast. A lot of my paintings are very fast. Sometimes I feel like that's a good way to catch expression, put expression and stuff, you know. So then there, that is totally plain and weird and boring, but anyway, it's cool. It's gonna work out for what I have planned. I am also going to go over these buildings again real fast. Kind of want them to be more of a brown. Whatever, it works. Do it that way. Like, does this need to be a little lighter? I don't know. Maybe. We'll try it. There's my arm again. Take that. Then what I'm going to do with all this, tomorrow I'll probably do more of like a watercolor type, something rather like washy with all of the leftover colors. That's too light though. Too similar to the background. But again, whatever. I was originally going to have the background be like watercolory and him be more opaque and painterly, but whatever is happening made me go this route, which is fine. That's freestyle art is like the most fun ever. because it wasn't super freestyle because I had already drawn him, but the drawing was like a little 10-minute sketch probably. Maybe I could lighten up the sky, but again, maybe I can just not just snot, but just not. It has a fun atmosphere to it. And I feel like it's come together a lot more than it looks a lot better than it did yesterday. Obviously. I mean, even just a little bit of work that has happened today has added like a lot of character to it. For whatever reason now, it's like the orange I wanted it to be all along. Oh no. Oh dear. See, that's weird because you can make gouache do like literally almost anything. It's very friendly in the realm of, like, I play in the realm of acrylic a lot and watercolor. It's just kind of like the best of both put together. And I like that I can work small or large if I want to. All in all, just a delight, this gouache stuff. And let's see here. So, I mean, there's not a lot of separation here now. It's like not dark enough. It's cool, whatever. That's something that can easily be figured out. Inking it in and stuff. Or just adding a little bit more dark to it. Should kind of do the trick, but like this part especially, like down here with this alley type area to be dark. For the contrast purposes, all of that. So I'm going to add a little bit of black. Just give it a little quick detail. Then I'm going to mess with the brick, the lower highlight, and be done. Well, as done as art ever is. And then I will most likely put it on. I'll probably just have it with me at the cons and stuff I have planned to show everybody how weird some of my first gouache stuff was. No. Ooh, that's kind of fun. There's like sometimes I like love brush strokes being visible, and other times I dislike it. I have come a long way though. I used to everything always had to be very clean, super clean lines, no room for slop or like error, ever, no matter what. And I'm very happy that I have gotten past that point. Because I feel like there's just a lot of character with quote unquote slop, mess, strokes, imperfections, all that jazz. All right. It's cool. It's a fun painting. Don't really know what I'm doing right now. Other than adding a little bit of stuff. I guess I could put like a little bit more depth and stuff in the background if I wanted to. Probably not going to focus on that though. So, first things first. Rinse that brush off. That's the first things first. Now, I was going to say, I want to fix this area real quick. And I don't know what color the light from below should be. I want it to be maybe fluorescent. I don't think I have like a hot. I was thinking like a hot pink would be kind of cool. Maybe like a green. Let's find out, shall we? Give it a little glow from below, as they say in Texas. They don't say that at all, but you can imagine what it would be like if they did. Oh, alright, that's too wet. But it looks kind of cool. I just have to get my hand steady here. Which will require movement of the canvas. I hope this doesn't look as washed out and bright on your screen. I was watching yesterday's just to check it, and it didn't look as washed out and bright as it did to me while I was streaming. So hopefully that's the case here. It's like there's a little glow from below, as it were. Maybe not the greatest, but still pretty fun. I still have these hard lines from yesterday that probably need to go, but that's cool. Again, so he's hanging over that ledge. So you would see the light up to that point. To like here. I have it on his chin a little bit. A little bit sloppy there, but that's okay. I'll dry this brush out. Kind of guide it. Oops. Just blended it in. Get a little dark blue again. Like have to let that dry and come back to it. So, anywho, well that's anywho. Yes, I'm saying that. Gosh golly. Well, that's drying. I also know. I would like to add some light in those windows. I really still want like more shadow on him too, but I might again just go over this with ink to completely finish it. He looks pretty cool though, like as is, but I think it would look even cooler with a little bit of help. So, I should have frisked it out the background. That would have been fun. I could have made lights in the windows like super duper easy with Frisket tape and stuff. Cool, that's what I needed to know. This is too wet still. This brush. But I forgot I need to do this little dome piece of this building here. What is it? I don't know. Maybe give these a little bit of highlight. This was supposed to just be part of like a building, but like floating. I don't know why, but that's kind of what it is. So we're gonna just deal with it. Let's see here. This is dry enough yet to add I want to see if I already kind of blended this color away, but I want to see if I can make this match buildings. Because why wouldn't a building just have a floating part to it? You know, I mean, it's 2025 after all. We can do all these wild things. I think we can come up with floating buildings. These little highlights are probably hardly even noticeable, but they'll lend to the overall effect. Ah, crap. Anyway, made it too bright now, so now it would be like way noticeable and would do some building windows. Some lights on over here. It's just going to add a little bit of depth and feeling to it. Again, this is more or less just some practice. So I'm not too worried about how it looks overall. Like if it's... But this does add to the effect and gives it like depth without like much planning or thought. Like obviously it's more it's an impression of a city in the background, but it adds life. And I hope this doesn't look as washed out to you as it does on my screen. Again, I should check this because it is like light in some spots, but there's some pretty good contrast. I'm digging. Just that little bit of like indication of city lights and stuff in the background like adds this a lot. And all I really need to do now, after these last couple of windows, maybe add some. I could add, so like what you could do if you were doing this, like if you don't really know a lot about painting in depth and just kind of, like I say, like it's illusion. A lot of it is illusion, right? These are just dots on a thing, but it makes it look now like there's a city back there. But what you could do too is you could get like a darker hue in here, like in between the buildings or down here. You could do like more outlines of buildings, like a little bit darker of the same value of like a red or something. And it would make it even more clear. It would like really stand out. But I'm not going to do that. So I am going to use this same color though, maybe with a tad bit of white, a tad bit more white, maybe a little more red. Maybe I should get a camera to show my mixing. It's not that big of a deal though. I am going to, yeah, it's too light. I'm going to make an indication of brick here. All it is, just a little bit lighter in those areas because they would be, because they'd be in the shadows. Maybe it's like a tiniest indication of like a lighter color in there while it's wet. It's kind of cool, but we still need shadow under his hand there. To really pull it together, make it believable, because this is such a believable picture. I just call my painting a picture. So let's see here. I'm not sure how this is going to look until it dries. Hopefully it lends to the shadowiness of it. It should. This came together pretty cool, actually. Not so bad. I could, don't really want to. Like, I could like add some shadow to the buildings back there as well. I'm not sure I want to do that. All right, I like this. I think this is close to finished there, or at least as finished as I'm taking it, as it were. You see though, that was not what I wanted. That moon, way too red there. Give him a little moonlight reflection on his spine there, his shoulder, a little bit on his ear maybe. back of his head. And I like it. And I also want to do stuff to it. That's alright. That's how art goes, right? Like, I'm telling you, if you don't just stick a fork in it at some point, you will be drawing. Be working on the same piece for your whole life. Maybe not. I guess it all depends on your ideas, right? Sometimes I think I'm too hasty because I'm kind of like ready to be off on the next idea. That break looks down. That turned out pretty cool. I would make this maybe a little bit darker. And I would make him a little bit darker too. Like, I'm not totally in love with that area there, but excuse me, I don't like hate it. Trying to see if I can. I don't know. I probably shouldn't. Just try to see if I can maybe just real quickly come up with a dark solution to this. Just throw a quick little bit of shadow in there. And maybe color good. Pretty sure that's what all the kids are saying these days. You want a color good guy? Sure, bro. Alright, that's cool. Darker color there. That will work. I don't know if this brush will work for it though, but that's cool. Because I have a lot of brushes. Yeah, that dark kind of sets it off. Sets it off the way I want it to be. Ooh, I didn't think about that. That arm is hanging off. This right here would have highlight. Alright, this brush is a little too fat for detail. Just barely. I'm going to move this little skinny guy. See what I can muster here. Get this last little bit of detail going. I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually go ahead and mute really quick and turn the music up. kind of weird. It was almost like it got finished on time. Perfectly about an hour, and it looks pretty good. I don't know if it's capturing super well on the screen. It looks like a little washed out here on my end, but I will make another closer video of it or something to post. This is a little muddy back here. Might like fix that up real quick, but for the most part, I'm gonna just stick a fork in it because it was a good learning experience. I'm thinking now when I do these, I should probably beforehand do a little bit of mixing, like color planning and mixing. Might make it a little more streamlined for me. But other than that, like wash is quite fun. Let me tell you. I kind of like the applications and things that I have learned. Even just messing with just this single artwork the last couple days. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes after this. But yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow.